of you heard in the news by now, but Jedi Survivor has a new gameplay trailer. Well, just a regular trailer. And it looks good. Gameplay looks the same, but improved. You do more things. You do the things that you did before in the first game. And overall, I do like it, but what I want to discuss about is the story factor and who could be showing up in this game. Because as people point out on Twitter, this game is set in the same year as the Obi Wan Kenobi show, so that could raise questions of could certain characters show up, like Obi Wan himself? I doubt it, but we have to see. Now, it's not clear if this game takes place before the Disney Plus show or afterwards. We would kind of have to figure out through Easter eggs, I guess. I don't know if the game's going to reference what happened in the show, or if a character's going to reference what happened. I'm not too sure. But another character that could show up is the fifth brother, because I remember there is a book that I don't know if it's out yet or if it's coming out when the game is, but it's a prequel book to the game. And on the cover, you see the fifth brother. Now, presumably, he's a villain of, that prequel. And it's not clear, or at least not to me at least, if the fifth brother is going to be in this game, in Jedi Survivor, or is he just a villain of that book? Because from the trailer, it doesn't look like there is a Empire villain. Now, from the first game, if you remember, the Ninth Sister, it wasn't confirmed if she was dead or not, because the way that battle played out. So could she be the villain of the Empire side? Because there's a villain, and it's not part of the Empire. It's a character that I forget the name of. I don't know if they said his name, but the character from the High Republic is the main villain of this game, and his goons. I'm wondering how that's going to play out, how they're going to get these goons. But I think that's pretty cool, especially if he's from the High Republic era, because if you look at his robes, it looks like the High Republic, the attire that people wore back, or in those comics. I think having High Republic characters being name dropped could be a possibility. Obviously Yoda could obviously be name dropped, but also characters from those comics. Those names maybe could be mentioned. I don't think we're gonna see flashbacks. I mean, it'd be cool to see flashbacks to the High Republic. First time, visualization of that, which I could see. Seeing that Cal can see into people's past, because he has that rare force power that only Quinlan Vos has currently in the timeline right now. Also, speaking of Quinlan Vos, he could show up. He was mentioned in the Obi Wan Kenobi show. He could be, seen because he was part of the past. If you remember from the Obi Wan Kenobi show, we could see him show up. He could be teaming up with Cal for a little bit. But like I said about the whole rare force power, Cal could see in the past. He did it several points in the game, and that could happen again. Then it would make sense that he could go and maybe touch an item that that person had from the High Republic, if he is, because he may not be, and we can see a flashback. Now, like I said, it's only if he's from the High Republic era, which I would, bet that there's a high chance it is, because, Star Wars is all about that interconnectivity, and anything that has came out in the last couple of years, Respawn can use that in their game. We see a cross-guard lightsaber, we're seeing all these different type of, stuff from previous, titles. With all that being said, I feel like I forgot the most important thing that of characters that could show up, which is the characters from the Obi Wan Kenobi show themselves. And this is a thing on Twitter. I saw people talking about Reva kind of showing up in Jedi Survivor, which I don't think is going to be the case, because she's more of a, Obi-Wan Kenobi-centric character, but that would pretty much confirm if the show takes place before or after the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, because if it takes place before, then she would be an Inquisitor, but if it takes place afterwards, it's whoever she's doing afterwards, It's not really confirmed, but the show can, or the game, I mean, can, confirm something that the show didn't. So that, in other terms, is, you could say, who can show up. Because I feel like that question could be what characters could show up, what planets could show up, what alien species could show up that we've seen prior. Because the video game is much different than a show, where in a game, you can go to different planets and there can be different Easter eggs according to different stuff. Because in the first game, there were tons of Easter eggs from the Star Wars franchise. Whether that be a name drop for Master Yaddle, or the Clone Wars stuff, you know what I mean? Like, you get to see, like, all of what Star Wars was, in a certain sense, in Jedi Fallen Order. Unless this is the case with Survivor, but in a much more closer timeline to, New Hope, we can see, rebel cells. Because the only rebel cell you saw in Fallen Order was Saw Gerrera's cell. But with this, in Survivor taking place the same year as Kenobi, and I think the same year as Solo, maybe a year afterwards, yeah, it's a year afterwards, we can see, the rebel group in Solo. I forget their name, I forget their name, but the girl, you know what I mean, that group, re-spark that, because if I forgot their name, then that's kind of bad, because they're not really relevant then. So having them in the game in Jedi Survivor could be good. And, I think having Cal meet up with a rebel cell, whether that be Saw Gerrera again, or a rebel cell that we already know from another title, or a new rebel cell, I think that'd be pretty cool to kind of connect the ever-growing Rebel Alliance and the Rebel cells defecting from the Empire. To end off this video, I think one last character that most likely will show up in Jedi Survivor is Vader. He most likely will. He was in the first game. I think he will show up in the sequel, but I think more towards the end, because Vader is meant to be this unkillable boss. But I think as you level up Cal, and Cal learns more Force powers, I see by the end of the second game, or by the end, if they're gonna make a third game, I can see Cal going against Vader, and he could have a health bar, meaning that Cal is strong enough in the Force to take down Vader. But if in this sequel, in Jedi Survivor, if Vader has a health bar, that means Cal is strong enough to fight him and to possibly take him down. That's the whole point of a health bar, is once they go down to 0, that's it. You defeat them. But if Vader doesn't, and it's kind of the same thing as before, I'll be down for that. I think that it should be more action-packed and a bit longer, the chase scene, and more through different terrain, because I do like the ending of Fallen Order, when Vader chases you down all the hallways, but it is a bit short, and I get why, because you had this major boss fight, you're probably low in health, and I get it, but for the sequel, I think it should be a bit longer. There should be more, you fighting rather than being quick time events, because the quick time events kind of ruin the fight, but I get why. But I think in the sequel there should be more, you fighting Vader rather than the game fighting Vader for you. And I would, most likely Vader will show up again. If not, that'll be a disappointment, but I think he is. Just they're saving him for, like, the final, level of the game. But do you have anyone that you want to see in Jedi Survivor? Whether it be a prequel character, or a character from the original trilogy, or maybe a sequel trilogy, I don't know. But I'm gonna go now. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button and subscribe. I'm going, so goodbye everyone.